Hello and welcome. This is Cheryl. Thank you so much for joining me today. In this video, I'm going to share some gorgeous You collection cards. Obviously, this includes the gorgeous You collection. We have these beautiful, gorgeous florals, as well as the gorgeous You perfume bottle. Such a pretty shape for that, and I'll make a shaker card with it in this video. Then we have the makeup bag, and I love the fact that the detail in the makeup bag is a separate inlay, so you could have a plain one or you could add that inlay. Then we have the gorgeous You makeup die set. Lots of different choices there, as well as the Flawless Sentiments press plate and die set. I love press plates for sentiments, and when they include dies, it's fantastic. And then we have this beautiful embossing folder that works perfect for a nice, subtle embossed background. So I'm going to start off with the makeup die set. Now, full disclosure, I'm not a makeup person. I haven't really worn makeup regularly since high school. So while this necessarily isn't my cup of tea, I have daughters that love makeup and use it regularly. And I think this would be a great card or a great card for a gift card for them or for anyone that's into makeup. So I'm starting off with some cardstock here. This one is, I believe it was Dahlia Cardstock that I used. All of the cards in this video use the same color scheme. I'm using Blush Cardstock, Tutu Cardstock, Dahlia, as well as Wildberry Cardstock. Those are the pink colors that I'm using. And then I'm pairing it with brown. So I have Portobello, which is an old color. A new color alternative would be Acorn. I'm also using Acorn, which is one of the new colors, but if you used Acorn as a substitute for Portobello, then Truffle would be a good substitute. So I'm taking the makeup bag insert die, and I'm using it with that Dahlia cardstock and just die cutting that pattern in there. I thought it would be interesting because there's no outside die lines around it. I thought it would be interesting to use it as a background. Now, the first time I put it through my Platinum 6 machine, I had the blade side down, so I got the pattern, but it didn't really cut all the way through. So I installed it, or I put it back in and put it through my Platinum 6 again, but with the die facing up so that the pressure from the top of the machine really cuts that cardstock out. Now, you could see when I started, I did take a ruler and pencil and I marked out the halfway mark so that I would have that pattern really evenly spaced in that or on that cardstock. The cardstock started out as 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but once I have my background done, I'm going to be trimming it down to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. I took a die pick to poke out all of those open little bits, and it's great because you can take this piece, and because of all those open little bits, you're going to see the cardstock color that you have underneath it. So here I'm using a card base that's Portobello, and again, if you don't have that color, because it's an old one, you can substitute it with Acorn or whatever you like. It's very close to like craft cardstock. So if you have craft cardstock from another company, it'd be fairly similar. So I'm using some Barely Art glue to glue it down. And I'll put an acrylic block on there just to hold everything in place so that my hands are free to do other things and glue other pieces together. I have all of the die cuts for the front parts, for the embellished parts for this card already die cut and ready to go. I just store them in my craft stacks. I use my craft stacks all the time for prepping cards. They come in so handy for that. I'm also pairing this with a little bit of holographic silver cardstock. It's great for adding some shine, and I thought it's great with this because of that holographic shine. It goes with a lot of different colors, and it's just a little bit more interesting than, say, just plain silver. So I did several different pieces for each of the die cut embellishments in that holographic cardstock. So I'm using that same Barely Art glue in a fine line bottle. It's great for gluing larger pieces to the bases of the cards as well as smaller die cuts. I use it all the time. I use my liquid glue for pretty much everything because I love being able to move and shimmy things in place and adjusting it. I like the fact that you have a little bit of forgiveness there. You don't need to use a whole lot of glue, and it goes a long way. So with those pieces assembled and ready to go, I'm going to work on my sentiments. So I'm choosing the sentiments from the Flawless Sentiments press plate set. I'm only doing the one that creates several different sentiment and matches the die set. There are a few that you can just do the sentiment and then cut them in a square with your trimmer or a rectangle with your trimmer. I wanted to do the ones that matched the die. So there's not dies for every single one of the sentiments in the press plate set. The ones that don't come with dies, you can really just cut them out with a trimmer. I'm going to do them in 2 different colors so that they coordinate with both the brown on my cards as well as the pink, so the raspberry colors of my cards. That way I can pick and choose which one works better for which card that I'm doing. So for the raspberry color or the pink color, I'm choosing to use some Concord and 9th Wildberry ink. And then for the brown, I'm using some Gathered Twigs Distress ink. So between inking that press plate up, I do clean off my press plate with a damp microfiber cloth. And if I get any ink on the base of my BetterPress system, I do take that same cloth and clean it up. Sometimes if you get some on the base, it can transfer to your cardstock. And I do try to, as much as possible, avoid that. So by cleaning it off, if you notice it, it definitely helps to avoid that. I'm going to use some Best Ever Craft tape to tape that die in place. Anytime I'm doing something like this, I always tape my die in place to make sure that it doesn't shift and move. And that way I don't have to be quite as careful with it when I'm moving everything around because I know it's taped exactly where I want it to go. Then I can put it through my die cutting machine and we have 5 different sentiments there ready to go. Nice and quick and easy. I'm going to do that same process with the second one. Actually, it might be 6 sentiments. I've miscounted there. So again, I love the fact that we get a whole bunch of sentiments here. We're going to have plenty for all the cards that we're creating, and then I'll have a few extras to go on future projects. And whenever I have extra sentiments, I typically take a Ziploc bag and I will put them in there and I just store them with that press plate set. Because if I know that I'm going to use or want those sentiments again, I'll typically look at what I have already created from that set, and if it's the right color, the right sentiment, then I can reuse that. Otherwise, I'll just make some new ones. So I'm going to put my little embellishments here on the front of the card. Now, because of the embellishments that I chose or because of the makeup pieces that I chose, to me, this works best for a horizontal card. You could possibly do it as a vertical one, but I definitely like it better as a horizontal one. So I'm using a few different sentiments for this, and I messed up my taping. I taped 2 different sentiments to the front, and then, so I taped glued happy birthday and then treat yourself. And then I'm going to put a gift card pocket on the inside of the card and then use the sentiment that says it's on me. And I thought that would be a fun way to give a gift card by being able to put it in the pocket on the inside and have the it's on me. I thought it was perfect for that gift card holder. Now I don't have like a Sephora gift card or an old one like that, so I just put a Timmy's one in there. Obviously you can put whatever gift card you want to give in there, but this is a perfect one if you're giving someone. Sephora is the only one that I can think of that does makeup, but I know there's many out there. If you're giving someone a gift certificate for that or gift card for that, this would be a perfect card for that. So the next card I'm creating, I'm going to do the perfume bottle, but I wanted to change the shape of the bottle up a little bit and use one of the emerald cut shaker domes with it. So I have the emerald cut die set. I have a piece of 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch cardstock here, and I placed the appropriate size die on that cardstock and taped it in place. This way I have that opening for that shaker dome. I'm going to use the coordinating embossing folder with this collection, and I'm going to put that piece in that embossing folder and emboss it. So this is a 3D embossing folder, so I'm using the stacking for a 3D embossing folder and running it through. And once it's embossed, I'm going to take my guillotine trimmer and I'm going to trim that down so that it ends up being 4 inches by 5.5 inches. So I'm going to do 1/8 of an inch off the 2 sides and then 1/4 inch off the top. I'm also cutting a piece of Acorn Cardstock to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So there's going to be just a little trim around there. And then that opening with that shaker dome in it is going to be able, or it's going to see this Acorn Cardstock. So you're going to have a darker colored perfume bottle in the bright colored cardstock. And this cardstock that I've used for the front of the card here is Wildberry. It's a beautiful, bright pink color. I absolutely love this color. So I'm gluing that shaker dome in place, and I'm using some acrylic blocks to hold that in place while it's drying. I want to try to make that shaker box as secure as possible before I glue it to the front of the card. While I'm waiting for that glue to dry, I'm gluing that bow down, and I've cut that one out of some blush cardstock. Then I have a few pieces from the bottle top that I cut out of the Portobello and Acorn cardstock. Now, because I'm not using the whole bottle, for one of those dies that has the whole bottle, I only cut the top part of it. So you're seeing a little piece that goes with the top of the bottle. I will use my shears and I will trim that down after that glue has set. And I'm going to trim it so that it just fits on top of that shaker dome. So you get the idea or the look of the top of the bottle, but it's not actually attached to the bottom part. It's just glued to the top. And by gluing everything together first, I can make sure that it is all cut evenly and fits perfectly on the top of that bottle. So once that is cut down, I can glue that down. And here you can see exactly why I have my shaker dome so low. I wanted to make sure that there was space enough for that bottle top. With that glued down, once again, I put that acrylic block on top of there just to hold that down while I was waiting for it to dry. So I can glue this Acorn cardstock on top of the Portobello cardstock card base. Now I'm trying to use up a lot of my old Spellbinders cardstocks. So that is why I'm using some of these old colors with some of the new colors. I don't want them to go to waste, and I typically don't do colored card bases, but I am doing it lately just to use up some of the cardstock and make sure it has some good use to it rather than it going to waste. So with my card front ready, we can start to put our sequins in the area where the shaker dome is going to go. Now this sequins is from the advent calendar, the Spellbinders Crafty Advent Calendar. Obviously you can use whatever shaker dome inserts you want or shaker pieces that you want. Now I'm putting them on that card base and then just gluing my shaker dome on top of it. If this makes you uncomfortable, another thing that you could do is you could put your pieces right into that shaker dome and then just use a scrap of cardstock to seal it in place. That way all of those bits are sealed in there before you put it onto the front of the card. And by doing that, you could fill it up more than you could had you done it the way that I'm doing it. So when you look at the way I'm doing it, when you see how much of that those shaker bits are in that bottle, there's a lot less than it really looks in when I first put it on there. I thought it was going to be a lot more, and that's totally fine. It's just if you wanted it a little bit fuller, doing it the other way might work better. So I have 1 sentiment on the front and then 1 sentiment on the inside of the card. And that's a great way to use up some of the sentiments too. If you have a lot of them, you can put 1 on the inside as well as 1 on the front. So for my last card, I'm going to use the Gorgeous You Florals die set, and I love the different florals in this set. I always love working with florals anyways, but this one, I love the large sizes of them, as well as the unique shapes. So I have them die cut in a bunch of the different pink shades as well as the different browns, or the darker brown, sorry, for the leaves and the greenery. Obviously I could have incorporated some green for the greenery, but I wanted to keep the same color palette for all of the cards. So I thought it would be interesting to do them as brown leaves for this. So with these dies, there's a little die cut that gets cut when you cut the leaves, and it's just a little curved stem. There's a dot on the top and a dot on the bottom. You can just use one of those dots to glue your flower to, the tiny little flowers. I opted to glue 1 to each end. And then once that glue has dried, I'm going to just snip it so that I have a shorter stem on each one of those flowers. I don't really need a longer stem for what I plan to do. So this is just a great way to use it up and use it for more of the flowers than just 3. So this way I get it on 6. So here I'm just snipping those apart. The larger flower there has 3 different layers, and I chose 3 of the different pinks in order to glue those together. I chose not to do any ink blending for these particular cards, but you certainly could if you wanted to incorporate some ink blending. For my card base, I thought the stitching die of the month for March 2025 looked a little bit like a lattice. So it's called Diamond Knit. It works perfectly for kind of like an argyle look, but I also thought it looked like a lattice. So I thought it'd be interesting to use this as a card base. So I have my die taped to my card with the one die edge just off of this fold so it doesn't cut. I'm putting it through my Platinum 6 machine. Now keep in mind, this is a fairly intricate die, as well as the fact that I have 2 layers of cardstock here. So it's really not going to want to glue or want to cut through that second layer. And that's totally fine. I didn't need it to cut through that second layer. And I'm going to take a 1/4 sheet sorry, not a quarter sheet, 4 inches by 5¼ inches piece of Hammermill cardstock. And I'm going to glue that to the inside of the card anyways, so that there's an area that you can write a message if you want to. Now, I opted to just glue one piece in here. What you could do is do kind of an insert card that folds if you want your message to be hidden and not seen through the openings on the card front. Entirely up to you what you want to do. But what I am doing here is I'm taking those same shears that I used to cut the stems, and I'm cutting out the little notches in the side of the card. I kind of thought the white pieces looked a little bit odd there, so by cutting them out, the edge of the card or the outside of the card base doesn't change. That shape doesn't change. So with my card base done, as well as my florals ready to go, I am just going to take a die pick and I'm going to poke out some of the inside stitching bits. Now, I opted to not stitch this die because I didn't want to have to cover up the background of the stitching on the inside of the card. You could if you wanted, and then die cut the same piece again to cover that up. But I didn't want that look. I wanted just the look of kind of a lattice. So I'm gluing those florals on, starting with these larger kind of round shaped ones. And I do a lot of cards with florals, so it looks like I'm working really fast, but I kind of know exactly where I want everything to go. What I am mindful of is putting those large florals where there's a solid piece of that lattice background. I don't want to be gluing them to the opening because I don't want to have any glue showing through and gluing my card shut. So while it looks like I'm not thinking it out, I already know exactly where my pieces are going, which is why you see me gluing them and then putting them straight down. But I know that I'm gluing all of these where there is the solid part of that card front, and any of the leaves or whatnot on those stems, I didn't put glue on them because I didn't want them to glue to that white piece on the inside of the card. These separate leaves here that I'm gluing down, once again, I know that they are going right on that lattice part, so I'm not worried about the glue going through. So I always typically will start with the outside pieces and then work my way in. And then the last things I typically do is I will insert some extra leaves just to kind of fill things in, as well as the smallest florals. Those smallest florals to me are kind of the filler ones. So I'll typically use them to just fill in different areas. Now, I didn't cover my entire card front with florals because I wanted to make sure that you could see that lattice. You could certainly do more florals if you wanted to, but I wanted the look of some florals, but really be able to see that lattice there. And then I chose one of the sentiments that I had left over and once again glued it to an area of that card front that was cardstock. I wanted to make sure it wasn't glued to any area that would possibly be gluing that sentiment to the inside of the card. The last step here is I'm using some Silver Nouveau drops for the centers of those tiny little florals. And then I'm using some stickles for a little bit of sparkle on that large central floral there. So I let that completely dry before showing off the card, but it just gives a little bit of extra texture and a little bit of extra sparkle by having those stickles there. And I love the look of that lattice card base. Another option here would be to just do a card base and then glue that lattice to it. You get a similar look, but you just wouldn't have that open piece when you opened that card. Then we have our perfume bottle that is the shaker card, and I chose sequins for the filler for this, but you can obviously do whatever you want. I think even just some clear beads would be really, really cool in here. Then we have our very first card, which is that makeup card and has the gift card holder on the inside of it. I think it's absolutely perfect with some of those sentiments. It works really, really well. And what a fun way to give someone a gift card, especially if you know that they're into makeup or anything like that. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate all the time that you spend with me. I hope you have a fantastic day.